And now, kids, if you'll look on your right, you'll see the rare and endangered Mr. Conductor Fan 1406.
Bush did TCC. Don't believe what the government tells you. God damn it, the TCC. It was Bush did it. It's all a conspiracy. They're hiding footage from you. They're hiding scenes. They advertised all these new engines, and then they flew Jeremy right into the big boxes of toys. It's all a conspiracy. Don't believe it, kids. Don't believe it.
Oh no, it appears to be rabid and diseased. We'll have to have it put down.
I mean,
that was a good intro
yeah.
bit. I like that.
Hi, what's up?
Hello, everybody. Vinny's back again. You being gone has officially now become like an every other week thing, I think.
Because Matt is... I'm a busy man, okay?
Yes, we're busy boys.
Yes.
We're busy boys.
We're busy boys. That's right. Okay.
All right, but yes, we're back, everybody, and we're reviewing Blue Mountain Mystery today.
But before we do that, there is something that we need to do, which has not been done on this podcast probably for far too long. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I would agree with you on that one. Would you mind telling me what that is? Because I appear to have forgotten the name of it.
Me. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it.
I think
it's tweet time, you guys.
Yeah, in English, I think that meant
it's
time.
Tweet time, you guys. Guess what time it is? It's tweet time, motherfucker.
It's tweet time. Let me look at my watch. Oh, this is tweet time o'clock.
Oh, it's and it's not Twillman time. It's tweet time. Twillman time is that was last week.
Daylight savings time? No, that's tweet time.
Yeah, that's right, boys. All right. So read us some tweets.
All right. The first one is from our boy, and these tweets are going to be hella old because we haven't done this in like a month.
We have not done this in a very long time.
But our first one comes from our meme, Rick ETopHat67, and it's a quoted tweet from the Unlucky Tug, and he just says, "Shut up, Vinny," and then Rick says, "Grease and oil" in 3 words. Hey, man, I mean, sometimes...
The funniest bit of that is the fact that it's not wrong in the slightest.
I mean, it's also me. It also goes that way for me, too, because... I mean, both of us are very annoying and very loud. That's just the way it is.
Although I cannot say that I listen to the episodes that... Actually, I don't listen to any Grease and Oil podcasts, but I don't like
you.
go and listen... I don't listen to the ones that I'm not in, or really the ones that I am in, but like... I don't go back and listen to the conversations I wasn't there for, so who knows what I have no idea what goes on during those, so anything's possible.
Our next tweet comes from Eric Pier 53, and he says the Grease and Oil
guy.
Who? Yeah, who is that? Who is?
Okay, I don't know.
I think he's from France. The Grease and Oil guys should talk about The Force Awakens / Star Wars in general. That would be an interesting conversation. We should do that. That'd be fun.
We should do that the week before Rogue One comes out.
Oh yeah, you smart. You smart.
Yeah.
Good idea.
You loyal.
I mean, yeah, totally. I had that idea too.
I mean, Eric, that's stupid. Eric never has good ideas.
Dumb idiot.
He's just an idiot, and we hate him. He's a homofag. He should just go away. Bye.
Might have to edit that out. All right. Our next tweet comes from @TheFatControl. He says, "I use the Grease and Oil podcast in times of need on video games. It's actually relaxing." And
that is so wrong. What the hell is wrong with you? Jesus Christ.
I mean,
I think the tweet time intro is a summary of that.
At least he's using it the way it's supposed to be used and not actually like sitting down and watching it.
I don't know how people can like it's not a video. This isn't like a visual podcast. Some people have like live podcasts like shows and you can watch them. This is not. It's just some dumb image that Matt made like a year ago of us in front of the Diesel Works, which is don't.
It's meant to be something that you can listen to when you're playing video games or when you're in your car or like Lego Lover does.
When you're jacking off, hopefully. I mean, I would. If I listened to this.
I get incredibly erect whenever you say the words tweet time.
Oh my god. So do I.
Cool, dude.
It's like it was meant to be.
Our next tweet comes from @TankEngineTwins, who says, "Anytime I get the notification for Grease and Oil, I always shout, 'Grease and Oil!'"
I mean, okay, sure.
Cool.
Yeah, Cool, great.
Does that happen
I mean,
if when I upload the episodes later in the day? So like if you're at school and you look at your phone and there's a new episode, you just scream it in the middle of like math class, and the teacher's like, "So if we divide it by,"
I want to imagine it as like you're in like England, so you're like 8 hours ahead. And it's like 1 a.m, and you get a notification of a new grease and oil, and you're screaming. You wake up like everyone in the apartment complex.
Excuse you, they don't call them apartments; they call them flats in England.
Well, I don't.
Check your privilege.
I don't speak Euro. I'm sorry. I just accept them from strippers. That's all.
Ooh, that's hot. Our next tweet comes from TTNP Studio. Listening to the latest Grease and Oil in 2 times speed. Not sure if better or worse. Still seems the same. I've never tried that before.
Oh yeah, I remember when Taylor tweeted that. Yes.
That's all you have to say about that?
Yeah, and both yeah and yes are yes.
Yeah. Do you have another form of confirmation that you want to use there? You got yeah, you got yes. You want to go for an
Indeed. Yes. Totes, my goats, bruh, and tubular.
I love tubular. That's a word that not enough people use.
I say that very ironically a lot at school. It's very fun.
That word's tubular.
Totally. Or like that, have you ever seen the Star Wars Robot Chicken thing where they're trying to bring back Wizard?
Yes.
Yes. That was totally Wizard, you guys.
And our last...
After he throws the Emperor off.
Our last tweet is from LegoLover117, because I skipped over a couple tweets, because I didn't want this episode to take forever, just us reading tweets. And it is 2 pictures on Lego Lover's tweet, and it says, after a long trial, Lego Lovers victorious in Grease and Oil had to downgrade their studio after paying him millions of dollars in retributions. And it's a picture of him standing in a pile of money, and then us 2 in like some abandoned warehouse with our computers and recording gear set up. I've got a bunch of cans of Baja Blast, and Vinny's got a bottle of Clorox.
Why is that my signature cocktail?
I don't know, man.
Why is that should be Turtles? He's the one who's suicidal.
No, he'd have liquid peeps.
That is, I don't know if that's delicious or just vomit inducing.
Okay, so Turtles and I did a video together recently, and I had to lend him my Great Troublesome truck for that. And when he sent it to me back, that motherfucker sent me a box of peeps.
He sent you the shit peeps.
Yeah, he sent me some really awful looking peeps that I don't want to taste. I don't even want to open them.
Will, Matt, you can mail those to me and I will taste those for you, because he told me he literally just, like, he has so many peeps that he pretty much has every variation regardless of if he likes them or not.
Oh yeah, I DM'd him, I was like, what are these? And he's like, oh, I just sent those to you because I don't like those. Cool, dude. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I'll keep them on my shelf. If I ever need to get rid of them for some reason, I'll send them to you.
Alright, dude, Baja Blast peeps.
Hell yeah.
Make that happen, whoever makes peeps.
I'm like, that sounds like kind of good and also kind of really bad.
Well, what were the things which flavor were the ones that Turtle sent you?
They're like chocolate marshmallow or something like that.
Okay, I would prefer to have Baja Blast before chocolate marshmallow.
Which aren't peeps already marshmallows, so how do you get a marshmallow flavored
That's like H2O flavored water. It doesn't work.
I love H2O.
Man, that's Ocean Man, take you by the hand, lead you to the land, you know what I'm saying?
You know it.
Oh, don't, yeah.
You know, the message of the story this week is don't shoot kids.
I guarantee by the time this episode comes out, there will be a legitimate school shooting all over the news.
Real bad.
And it's going to look really bad, like the time that we were making fun of Postman Pat the day the voice actor died.
Oh my god. Oh, that
was fucking awful.
Ooh, not too good. Alright, well that's it for tweet time, guys. Thank you for sending us.
Thanks for listening to us doing nothing, and now we will proceed.
That's the end of the episode, guys. We'll see you next week. Just a 9-minute long tweet time special. I tweeted this out last night. I'm just gonna talk about this before we start. I tweeted this out last night but my coworker introduced me to a word that I haven't heard since like 2010, the word crunk,
What?
and it instantly became one of my new favorite words.
Like the character from the Disney movie?
I tweeted crunk is one of my new favorite words, and immediately Kikre tweeted me back a gif of crunk. No,
Oh, I think I saw that
it's
actually.
cronk and crunk. Crunk.
What is crunk?
Crunk means crazy drunk.
Why were you thinking about being crazy drunk in 2010?
I don't.
You were born in 2002.
Because there was there was a
little
song that came out in 2010 where it used the word crunk about 1,000,000 times in it, and it played last night at my work, and so that's what caused us to think about it again.
Oh, yeah.
Crunk is such
That's
a stupid. It's just such
classic.
It's
man.
a stupid
Classic.
sounding word. I don't know. I just thought it's crunk is just
Okay, so for those of you who clicked on this tasty thumbnail that don't usually listen to the podcast, this is the part that you should be enjoying now, because now we're actually going to be talking about Thomas and Friends. Remember that? I don't remember. Do you remember what that's
Nope.
from?
Nope.
Thomas and Friends is from like that variety show Shining Time Station, I think, from the 90s.
With Alec Baldwin as Mrs. Conductor.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Basically, welcome to the rest of the podcast where we're gonna review Blue Mountain Mystery. I saw that. I saw most of it during the live stream review we did a couple months ago, but I mean, you don't really watch the movie when you're part of those streams. You just sort of get involved in the moment of, oh, I'm live and 80 people or 70 people are watching me. Oh, this is cool and this is funky. Wow. This is so crunk, you guys.
This is really crunk.
I'm really crunk when I'm having 60 kids watching me.
This movie's totally wizardly crunk.
The Wizards of Waverly Crunk.
That's my favorite kid show.
Make a meme of that, Rick. Please do. Basically, I watched it for the first time analytically, all the way through, paying attention to everything that I could, basically ever. About a week, less than a week ago. I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, it was last Tuesday I watched it. I took notes. And Matt hasn't really seen it in a while, but he's seen it like 5 times anyway.
I saw it 5 times when it first came out because I was so excited that this was a Thomas movie that was actually semi-good that I just watched it over and over again like, my God.
It was, and I can say for a fact that unlike Tale the Brave, its semi-goodness has actually kind of stood the test of time.
Yeah, it holds up. This is
and by
the
the
first
test of
Thomas,
time, I mean like 4 years.
This is the first Thomas movie that really sort of marks the big uptick in quality. I mean, the last movie was Day of the Diesels, which really says
Day
a
of
lot.
the Diesels. When we get to that next week or the week after that, I to this day I think it's the worst. I
really?
think it is worse
than Misty Island.
I think it's worse than Misty Island. Yes.
Really?
We'll get to that one. We'll get to that when we get to that.
I'm
but
excited.
This was certainly a lower downy of quality.
I don't think this movie is that bad. I think a lot of people forget about this movie. A lot of people are sleeping on Blue Mountain Mystery, which is kind of a shame because this movie's actually pretty good. I like it better than King of the Railway, if I'm going to be 100% honest here.
The thing with here's where I'm starting to get into my trademark patent pendant Vinnie rant. Here we go.
Good.
Is like I said before, I think I've said this before, probably, most likely, is that for all of her shit, Sharon Miller knows how to tell a 3-act structure. She knows how to tell a 3-act structure in a film. They're usually terrible stories, very unrealistic with shit dialogue and a lot of other clunky bits. But there's usually a consistent flow of the story with very little filler, and it just sort of the movie progresses as you think it would without any stop, without major 25-minute points in the film where it just stops for filler. And oh, well, here's Ashima, and oh, she stole Annie and Clarabelle. Here we go again. And yeah, you know what I mean,
right?
And basically, I feel like this, like you said, this one is the best Sharon Miller film. In no, most of that credit would go to Andrew Brenner,
Right.
who this is the first film he worked on. He wasn't head writer, but they brought Andrew in to after Sharon sort of stepped down as head writer. The film hadn't come out yet, so they basically asked him to sort of clean up little bits and make it better.
I like how you refer to him as Andrew. What, you guys first name basis? Guys.
Yeah, well,
guys best buddies?
we went to Olive Garden last week.
Oh, okay. Cool. And of course, as everyone knows, the TCC is directly affiliated with the TV series.
Oh yeah, Andrew Brenner totally doesn't hate the TCC's guts. Of course not. That's preposterous.
That would be silly.
That would be terrible.
That'd be totally crunk.
No, we got totally crunk at the Olive Garden, you know what I'm saying?
My ex-girlfriend works at Olive Garden. I bet it gets pretty crunk at Olive Garden.
You got her pretty crunk, that's why she's your ex-girlfriend.
You know it.
But back to the Thomas movie.
Yes.
Okay, wait, so now that I said that, let me get my little notes out here. Hold on. Let's see. What did I say?
Waiting.
Blue Mat. There it is.
Waiting.
Wait, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, most of these little notes I did are in no particular order whatsoever. So, yeah, so basically the first thing I wrote was, after watching the movie, was that the film has a stronger story than Tale of the Brave or King of the Railway. The story focuses more on the emotions of the characters rather than, like, the railway accuracy stuff, and that's pretty fucking obvious. There's a lot that doesn't make sense or work at all, but I find it quite enjoyable. There's few times that I actually found myself, like, face-palming, unlike Tale of the Brave, like I said. There's a whole lot of just Percy. Really, Percy? You're so... Okay, shut up. Frig up, Percy.
I like how you felt the need to censor yourself there. Shut the frig up, Percy.
Shut the frig... Oh, I don't know. Ringo was walking by. I felt the need to spare his little kitty ears.
Little kitty ears.
Little kid. Hi, Ringo. What are you doing? And he's shitting in the litter box.
Special guest Ringo on this podcast.
Special guest Ringo shitting in the corner. You might be able to hear the poop hit the sand if you're lucky.
That's real gross.
It's not when shit hits the fan. It's when shit hits the sand. You know what I'm saying?
That's real disgusting.
It's real crunk. And yes, before you ask, I do get my cat drunk before I fuck him.
Hey man, you do what you do on your own time. I'm not gonna judge. It's all good.
As long as it's not, as long as I don't film it for the TCC, I think it's fine.
As long as it's not caught in the reflection of a magnet. Anyways, I really liked Paxton in this movie. I thought Paxton was a great character.
Paxton is extremely underused in this film, I think.
But he was
I feel like this could have been a Thomas Luke Paxton like trio movie, and it wasn't. Because I remember when it came out, everyone's like, "Oh my god, Paxton's such a funny character," and the reason everyone was talking about it is because he didn't like have a line before this, so there was nothing else to go off of. But now that he's had his own like 4 or 5 episodes in the series, and he's a well-known character and his personality is well-known, it's like, remember Blue Mountain Mystery? That's where he came from. He's in like 4 scenes, 5 scenes maybe.
I feel like every Thomas movie has to have a scene now where Diesel, Paxton, and Arian Bird are at the Diesel Works, and Diesel's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do something," and Paxton's like, "Are you sure that's a good idea, Diesel?" And Diesel's like, "Yes," and then nothing happens.
Or something sort of like that.
Yeah.
There's another point that I had in my notes was that a longer running time, or just perhaps a little bit less spent on Thomas, could have helped flesh out a lot of the other characters that desperately needed expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Percival, Paxton, Rheneas, etc. All of these characters were like semi-interesting to really interesting, and I wanted to hear more of I wanted to have at least one scene more of each character. Paxton doing something more, because Paxton did help out in the end with bringing Victor to the quarry right when he freaking needed to, which I feel like is impossible in the time that he did.
Yeah.
Like, holy, that was what, like 5 minutes? He traveled all the way across. Oh, wait, no. Blue Mountain is... Never mind, that's not that far.
Coincidentally, this special...
I just have the Sodor map ingrained into my skull so I can pick up on, plot details.
Coincidentally, this special also had a dumb bit involving a bridge, similarly to the Great Race. London Bridge is falling down.
Okay, that is a fantastic segue into my next point, which is that
That's
other
me.
than Luke...
Matt the segue.
Other than Luke, none of the new characters really added anything. Like, I like Owen's attitude and his role in the climax, but, for example, Merrick is literally just there to make a London Bridge joke. Yeah. Oh, London Bridge is falling down. I mean, London Bridge. Get it? It's so funny, because you know what London is. Ha ha ha, yes. But Winston is just there to be Fat Hat's sidekick and just something for him to drive. Like, it's a funny idea, but Topham totally could have just driven around in his car.
Hashtag bring back
for the 4 scenes that he was in.
Yes. Also, why was that just me, or was that like the guy from the episode with the hand car at Blue Mountain?
Old Bailey. Yeah. The Old Bailey is the guy. I'm 99% sure the wiki confirmed that was Old Bailey.
George Carlin looking ass guy.
Yeah, the young George Carlin looking ass guy.
A workman that looks somewhat similar to Old Bailey was seen working at the Blue Mountain Quarry. It is currently unknown if it was him or not. So, guys,
I'm gonna say it is.
When even the TWR or Thomas the Tank Engine wiki doesn't know, then we're all screwed.
Because at least they know that the Polish voice actor for Sir Topham Hatt's 7th grandchild worked on Powerpuff Girls.
And at least they know that the field is a field.
You're never going to stop saying that joke, are you?
It's so stupid. It's just...
Your joke is so stupid.
Everything about me is so stupid.
That's a yes.
I did get a lot of nostalgia flashbacks with the CGI recreated Percy's... What was that fucking episode called? Percy's Jam or whatever?
Scar for Percy.
Yeah, Scar for Percy, that one.
No, that's another thing, is that Andrew Brenner added that. Sharon Miller, I guarantee, hasn't researched anything. The only knowledge that she knew on the show is the fact that she was writing for the show for like 10 years. Just, she didn't really come into play until The Great Discovery as like head writer. But she wrote little episodes for like the model series, like the late model series. She only knew what she had written. Andrew Brenner was a magazine writer back in the early 1990s, and we have episodes like Thomas Percy and the Dragon, Trust Thomas, stuff like that. That was Andrew Brenner. He did that, and then they made it into the TV. So, and plus, he's a huge fan of the show anyway, so he is probably top 5 most Thomas-obsessed people on the planet. And it's, goddamn lucky that he's the head writer for the show right now.
Yeah.
So I think he was more than qualified. I think one of the few ridiculously good decisions Hit has ever made is bringing him on as head writer in this special. And the little, whatever, it was 2 minutes of CGI recreations for Sad Story of Henry, Down the Mine, and Scar for Percy were fan-frickin-tastic. Even more so, then than now, because we have Andrew doing everything for us, pretty much.
I've been saying a lot of good stuff about this movie, but I just remembered something that makes this movie lose a lot of goodwill with me, and that's the yellow Rheneas at the end of the movie.
Why do you care?
It's so stupid. It's literally just there to sell merchandise, and it's so ugly.
You can tell that they really, really wanted one more toy, and it doesn't amount to anything in the plot. It's a post-credit scene. It's like a Marvel movie. It's just a post-credit scene. It doesn't bother me as much as something like the bridge jump, because the bridge jump is part of the film. I don't even consider this scene to be part of the film. It's like a DVD extra, or like when the Pixar movies used to do bloopers during the credits.
Yeah.
Remember that? It's like that,
Oh, you said you wanted a yellow engine? Well, I found one.
Exactly. It's some dumb joke just so they can make a toy, but it doesn't amount to anything in the plot because it's not even part of the movie. So that's why it doesn't bother me as much as it does you, I guess.
Sucks.
sucks to suck.
I'm salty that they didn't make a wooden... Okay, if they were looking for another toy to make, why didn't they make a Wooden Railway Owen and not Yellow Rheneas? I would have bought the shit out of the Wooden Railway Owen.
Because Wooden Railway Owen would be fucking expensive as hell. You know how big that would be?
That's true.
That would be so freaking huge.
But it would be so
instead,
cool.
They made Yellow Victor and Yellow in the Sea Victor and Yellow Rheneas, and they just sort of went on like an anime binge at that point.
I like how you describe it as Yellow in the Sea Victor, and then
yellow scuba diving Barbie,
and then blue Boulder Quarry for some reason.
No, they I don't even know why they felt like they needed to have a Yellow Rheneas, because this film probably had the best, other than the Great Race. Actually, no, because Great Race is definitely the best in terms of setup for merchandise.
Yeah.
This one is probably second best for setup of merchandise, because you had to reintroduce 5 characters. So you got, without even making any new toys, you've already got 5 toys that are associated to the film and all the packs and all the sets that they come in. And then you've got Luke and Winston, and they made a wooden Merrick. Excuse me, Eric. They made a wooden Merrick Pierre
53.
I said it, you asshole. I already said it.
We had the same thought there. And then they also made that deluxe Mountain Quarry set. I have it, and I actually like it. I think it's kind of cool.
The song at the end is fantastic. Fuck Eggplant.
Blue Martin Quarry.
That's Martin Quarry.
Blue Marklin.
That's not the song. That's not the song I'm talking about.
I know it's not.
It's a come on sing along, Blue Mountain. I swear, I watched that and then I went to school and I had that in my head the entire day.
Good.
It was really it's really catchy, and I like the the music, not just the songs, but like the music itself, all the little like panpipe little, what, I don't know what it is. It's like a little flute that like Luke's theme is like.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk at all about Luke. What do you think of Luke?
Luke is a really, really interesting character. I think the backstory that they gave him is freaking fantastic.
He's kind of annoying. He kind of annoyed me.
He's kind of annoying in his simplicity. Okay, one of the major things that I said about the movie, probably the major flaw in terms of not just, I don't like Yellow Rheneas, but like the movie itself, because like I said, I don't really see that as part of the movie. One of the biggest flaws in the movie itself is the fact that we know it has 2 writers. It was written by Sharon, then Sharon left and Andrew like fixed it up a bit. Is that basically, because we know it has 2 writers, there's so many instances where there's a really clever bit and then a fucking dumbass bit. Like, there's so many bits of dialogue that's like, oh god, Sharon, it's a Sharon Miller dialogue bit, so it sounds like it was written by a 5-year-old. And then, a minute later, you've got Thomas saying, I fell down a mine, and look, I'm still here, which is a brilliant line.
So, like, it loses 2 points of goodwill and then gains 1 back.
Because it's so mixed. The film is so mixed in terms of not the tone, in like the tone kind of shifts a bit towards like the 3rd act where they go into Luke's backstory, and it's not like, the first couple, I'd say the first 45 minutes or not, like the first half an hour is like, oh yeah, Blue Mountain Quarry, blah blah blah, Blue Mountain Quarry, and then it's like, ooh, I'm gonna go, and then Thomas is like treasure hunting, and he goes, oh, I gotta find the yellow engine, and then so there is a shift in the plot, but it's not really, the pacing still stays the same. But all of the dialogue is most of the dialogue is Sharon Miller doing her dumbass Sharon Miller. Oh, well, blah blah blah. I'm Thomas, so I don't know anything. I'm just blah blah blah. Luke, come here, be my friend. Blah 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 blah. And then you've got like every 10 minutes or so, Andrew Brenner comes in with a really smart little. Oh, this is remember I'm still here, and it's like, oh my god, that was really good. And then it immediately cuts back to some dumbass line of dialogue, and then it's, oh god. Or like all the little like one-liners and little quips that all the dialogue bits between Skarloey and Rheneas, all the banter they have is incredibly good. It is perfectly, considering, again, the year before this we had Day of the Diesels, and then we have Blue Mountain Mystery a year later, and it's got, Scarlowi and Renee is perfectly in character the entire time, and it is a lot of it's Andrew. But again, you got to remember, Sharon Miller is the one, pretty much. I'm pretty sure Sharon Miller is the one who did the whole "I'm the winner, no, I am," blah blah blah. The model series, baby, like take 40 years off of Scarlowi's life character.
How old is Scarlowi and Renee supposed to be?
They had their 100th birthday in the 60s.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Sharon Miller definitely
late 50s, early 60s, somewhere around
Sharon Miller definitely did not write them like that. Damn.
No. So again, we know that was Andrew fixing it, but I guarantee in the first draft of the film, Scarlowi and Renee's had the same "I'm the winner, no, I am" personality, and then Andrew's like, haha, that is not them at all. Can I please fix this one little bit? You can have all your dumbass little Thomas wanted to be Luke's friend, and Luke said, no, I gotta get my consent first, and you gotta take me on a date first, buy me dinner, then we'll talk about sex and the tunnel. But that's okay.
Really hot.
Yeah, I'm not narrow gauge on it's it's like buying one of those Midgets Gone Wild tapes,
That's totally wizard.
That's so crunk. Thomas got Luke so crunk in the tunnel, man. Oh man.
Krunk's New Groove.
But that is a real movie. That is
Krunk, not Krunk. Krunk is very different from Krunk, I will have you know.
I'm sorry, Keeks.
One's a Disney character. Sorry. The other is a state of being.
I think they're both states of being.
Good.
Yeah, but like I said, the movie, mostly with the dialogue, there's such a back and forth between it's like two children fighting over a toy. One of the children is really, really smart and knows everything about the toy, and the other is like the younger sister who is he's 2 months old, and he's,
that kid
and
just shit himself 5 times.
Yeah. Well, the parents are like, oh, well, give it to little Sharon. She doesn't know anything. She's the younger kid. You can have the toy most of the time, and then Andrew, you can have the toy for just like a little bit, just some parts of it. But most of the time, this is her toy. And so, Thomas needs to go up on Owen, and he's going to go on the narrow gauge track because that's what would happen on a railway. But every once in a while, you get that little teeny bit of Andrew Brenner saying, hey, I've read the Railway series more than once. I don't think Sharon has.
Why did Andrew start singing?
It's not singing. It's
I don't think
lyrical. It's lyrical speaking.
Lyrical speaking. I got you. All right.
Lyrical speaking.
Well, I think we lyrically.
What's another point you have?
So you don't like Merrick very much, correct?
Merrick, it just doesn't do anything throughout the film, and he hasn't been used since then. It's not like Reg, where Reg did nothing in Tale the Brave, but they've used him in the series multiple times, so he is a semi-useful character in that regard. Merrick hasn't been used in the film he was introduced in. He hasn't been used in any of the episodes. He is a completely useless character in every regard.
I will say, that scene at the turntable, where Thomas is at the turntable and all the narrow gauge engines are confronting him, that upset me when I was younger. I was just like, man, why can't they all just be friends? God dang it.
What did you...
I don't even know what that was. I think Vinnie might have had a
stroke.
I said,
what did you do?
Oh.
In the Scarlowi voice, and then he got drowned. And yeah. Another thing. This movie made me want to see a lot more Victor in the current series. This movie is, when you get right down to it, this movie is a story about Luke and Victor and that relationship, which has been so fucked up because they haven't seen each other in forever. So it's a lot like Steven and Glenn in the newer episodes, just being the two old guys are just, over the hill, here we go. But Luke is not an old man, and neither is Victor. What I'm trying to get to is, we haven't, obviously, it's not like they disappeared like the Logging Locos. We still see the Steamworks, and we still see Victor and Kevin. And I don't give a fuck about Kevin, but Victor, I want to see Victor utilized way more. He appeared in the Great Race, with the whole safety, I think it was Safety Valve.
Yes.
Yeah. The Safety Valve, and then he had sort of a second role in an episode last season where Kevin got stuck in the snow and Victor was like the worried parent. That was good. I want to see more of that because Victor's an interesting character, and I want to see them at least reference the whole, hey, remember that part where I was like left in the ocean for like, what, a month, a year? Can we remember that? Because that was freaking interesting. Like I said earlier, the whole Luke's backstory and, not knowing that Victor is still alive is a really interesting thing. And it's a really interesting thing not only to cover in a Thomas movie, but a Sharon Miller Thomas movie. That's such a weird thing because everyone knows the Sharon Miller films as just, it's Joel Schumacher schlock. It's just awful.
Ooh.
It's known for being awful. And then you have this little part that's really underrated is Luke's character of his little character arc of just, being freaking hidden away because he literally thinks he murdered a guy. He thinks he murdered a guy, and if the police find out, he will be sent to to prison for life.
Sent to engine jail, the engine jail.
Engine jail, the scrap yard, I guess. I don't know.
Anyways, I said all I want to say about this episode.
Let's see what else. I think I have a couple other things.
Okay.
The song is really catchy. Oh, the one problem I remember when it came out, the one problem that everyone really had with it, because like I said, it was Sharon Miller, and people were thinking, oh, this is a good Sharon Miller thing. But the one thing that everyone had to say that was total shit was the ending with the whole "bring me up, Owen," blah blah blah. I have to talk to Luke, and I have to say, it doesn't really bother me because it's unrealistic as hell, but you can tell that Andrew Brenner thought that it was really dumb, and he tried to do something about it, and he cleaned it up and made it. He tried to make it less dumb because obviously none of the characters are just going along with it. Rocky's like, oh, "Are you sure about that? Okay," and then Owen's like, "Are you fucking retarded, Thomas? What are you doing? Come on, man." And they bring him up. They do that doubtfully. So and Thomas is so desperate. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's probably not the best choice they could have done. But what they did with it doesn't really bother me as much as it should. Honestly, if this was it's kind of like the Tale of the Brave Cranky scene, although that one is better executed in terms of being really badass, and then you find out it adds nothing to the plot. This one adds something to the plot with Thomas being pulled up onto Owen and chasing after Luke, and then Thomas gets stuck on a cliff. That is the climax. That's the big that's
them blowing their load.
Yes, I blow loads all the time, and Tale of the Brave blew 2 loads, one of which was completely unnecessary, and the other one was really cool for a minute, and then it's like, okay, man, you can just sort of get out of that rock slide. How do you not know? How does James not see that fucking rock slide? Whatever. Okay, sure. But Blue Mountain Mystery definitely utilizes the climax better, even if it is unrealistic. It makes sense in terms of the character motivation and what the characters are doing and the extent that Thomas wants to go to. It's just a little unrealistic, but I think like I said, I think it works.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Michael Brandon's Diesel voice is extremely jarring to listen to after being used to the full of surprises voice. I completely forgot that Michael Brandon played Diesel for 4 or 5 years.
Didn't we
and
all?
After he left, then they got a guy to impersonate Michael Brandon, which was even worse. So then you have all the UK people, which I've always had. Carrie Shale, I think.
That's sure. We'll go with that.
I think Carrie Shale is the guy who plays Diesel in the UK and now the US. But the UK and US, Diesel voice is fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
It's really great.
It's really great.
But listening to the Luke was fell into the sea. You're a bad engine, Luke. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah.
And like I said, most of the film is very good. But I think the biggest problem, other than the tone shifting between really, really, really unintelligent dialogue to really clever dialogue, and it's how uneven and how unbalanced that is. Another issue is that, at least in the U.S. dub, I didn't listen to the U.K. dub. I try to sort of switch off which dubs I listen to when I'm rewatching these films.
Mm-hmm.
But the U.S. dub, 85% of the voice acting is god awful.
Yeah.
It is so bad. I've never been a fan of the voice that Martin Sherman did for Thomas, the U.S. Thomas, even after he was given intelligent dialogue for 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But oh god, it's just Luke, come back, and then there's I never liked him. Even the new guy they got, he's okay, but it's just something about me that doesn't really accept the fact that Thomas has an American accent. Because it sort of worked when, like, you know, Alec Baldwin or George Carlin, because everyone had an American accent. That's just the narrator's voice. You get used to that. But when you think about you never think, oh yeah, that is the voice of Thomas. That's the if you went to Sodor, it's not like every engine sounds like George Carlin or Alec Baldwin.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
it's they do have their individual voices, and that's what they did for Magic Railroad. But with the CGI series, like, okay, this is what the characters really sound like when the narrator isn't doing their voice, and most of them suck. Most of them suck, except for, in this film specifically, Luke is very good.
Mm-hmm.
Victor is very good. Paxton is very good. Winston's voice is good. I wouldn't say the acting is good, but the voice, I do like the, you know, early days. It fits the character very well. And, Scarlowe Reneus. I love Scarlowe Reneus' voice. Peter Sam is, it's okay. Sir Handels is okay. Rusty is okay. But Reneus and Scarlowe, I think they got perfect. So it was like five or six characters they got really well. Everyone else in this movie is so jarring to listen to. Ugh. It pains me to think about it. And another thing, the thing that I was saying about the 2 different tones is that nowadays, because Andrew Brenner knows how to tell his stories, so they're not really, they don't have good pacing, but he knows the format and how not to be really annoying to the audience most of the time anyhow, unless you have bridge jump involved in some stupid shit like that, pretty much. But if you look at the newer the TV episodes, the specials, the narrator really only speaks when he needs to. They have really cut down on the narrator's dialogue and how much he needs to say. This film, holy shit! Because I haven't seen the Sharon Miller films, like, really. I haven't really paid attention to the Sharon Miller films pretty much since they came out. Like I said, the live streams don't really count because you're not really paying attention during that one. But watching this one and actually paying attention to the film and everything that's being said, it is so bad to just listen to all this stupid little Thomas puffed, Thomas huffed, Thomas puffed forward, Thomas chuffed, Luke chuffed more than Thomas, then Paxton puffed forward because he's a steam engine, then Diesel growled and Diesel gurgled and Diesel grumbled and Diesel gurgled and Gary Johnson.
Guys, this was a pretty crunk episode of the podcast, I'd have to say.
Wasn't it? Overall, I'd say Blue Mountain Mystery is not a perfect film because Sharon was still involved in it quite a lot, but Andrew Brenner fixed it up, and I definitely think it has a lot of replay value. I think it's better than Tale of the Brave in terms of in terms of Luke being such a really, really interesting character, and the whole thing with Victor, they did that perfectly, especially with the whole, he didn't speak the language, and they didn't do a cop-out. They actually had the guy who plays Victor speak Spanish for like 5 or 6 lines. Like, actually did that.
And it really
That's
says something to me that I remember this movie, which I haven't seen in probably about
It's
a
really
year and
memorable.
a half. I remember this movie more than I remember King of the Railway, which I just rewatched about 2 weeks ago.
King of the Railway has... I rewatched it because I remembered so little of it. I probably would have been okay not having to rewatch this and then review it, but I did, and I'm glad I did because I did come up with other things. But you remember so much of the Sharon Miller films. As terrible as they were, you remember pretty much every scene because of how you were a little bit younger. Most of us were... all of us. What the fuck am I saying? All of us, unless you traveled through time and just arrived here from 2011, all of us were younger, and we do remember more about the Sharon Miller films than the Andrew Brenner films.
You can't speak. Let's just end the episode.
I am 0101.
Thank you for watching, everybody.
Error.